One thing about me is that I am a crier. I love a good cry, and I feel like this year I've been lacking emotional distraught. Therefore, I thought it was the perfect time for me to reminisce and just think about some books that made me cry. What a better way to talk about them than ranking them from 1 to 10. 10 being the most violent sob, thought I was going to crash out and cease to exist. 1 being I shed some tears. Let's start with number 1, and that for me was Caught Up. This book has a violently diabolic third act breakup, and I was a victim of it. In number 2, we have Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I went into it thinking it was going to be a rom-com, and I wouldn't say it wasn't a rom-com, but I cried. I cried a lot. I feel honestly gimmicky putting this book only at number 3, but that's an indication as to how sad the other ones are if this one is just in number 3, and I'm talking about Sunrise on the Reaping. If you've read this book, you know. And if you haven't read this book, go read that goddamn book before the movie comes out. The Long Game. This is the sequel to Heated Rivalry, the book that season 2 will be based on, and let me just tell you, you're not ready, I'm not ready, nobody's ready. My Friends by Frederick Backman. I cried from the very first page till the very last page, no breaks. I've seen people that read this book and did not cry, and I think that's great for you if you could do that. That's just not me. Now buckle up, because we're talking about top 5. Atmosphere. In this book, we have that sort of scenario where you start at the end and you go back in the past, you get the full story, you get attached to the characters, and then you come right back to the end, and all of a sudden your life depends on the last words that that woman chose to write in that book. And let me just tell you, that's a stressful scenario to be in. The Nightingale. I'm left with no words thinking about that book. I can't talk about it. Highly recommend. Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. I did not know that I could cry such violent, happy tears. The Last Letter. This is how I looked finishing that book. I was swollen for 3 days. Yeah, no, I've never moved on. At a number 10, Redeeming 6. Honestly, I feel like I need 3 to 4 business years to recover from the trauma that that book inflicted on me. Genuinely, check your trigger warnings if you want to read that book, but boy, oh boy, is that book sad. But also one of my favorite books of all time, so I don't know what that says about me. Now that I've thought about all of these violent cries, I am craving a violent cry even more. Let me know what book made you cry the most violently, because I need all of the book recs. And without further ado, I'll leave you to reading.